Imagine, if you will, that you had an alien as a dinner guest. Now, I don't mean an alien as in an immigrant from Mexico, but an actual alien, one from outer space. And as you eat with him, he asks you a question. He says, in your society, you lock up men who prey sexually on young girls, and you look down upon Eastern cultures that treat women as objects or property. So then how is it that in your society, you do so much that leads to the objectification and sexualization of women? How would you answer? This thought experiment was put forth by Jamison in the Deseret News a few weeks ago. And for me, it was a difficult question to answer. How is it that we can rectify the difference between our ideals of perfect equality and the reality that women are treated a lot differently than men in our society? So today, we're going to look at a couple of different things. How it affects the men and the women in our society, and if it's a problem that can be changed. So, in a study in 2012 by Psychological Science, it was found that both men and women have a tendency to view women as objects. You would say that this really only impacts the women. I think you would be wrong. Now, I don't really feel bad about doing that. It's a chair and it doesn't feel anything. Knocking over a person, on the other hand, I feel terrible about. So you can see the difference between how we treat objects and how we treat people. Is it a surprise then that rape and abuse are common in our society? I don't think so. And don't think for a minute that this only affects the women. It dehumanizes the men who do it just as much. Not only do we have a problem with viewing women as objects and treating them like that, but it has a real impact upon their mental capacities. In a 2007 report by the APA Task Force on the Objectification of Women, it was found that a woman wearing a sweater would perform much better on a math test than the same woman wearing a swimsuit. This is because they feel like objects that way. They feel sexualized and objectified. And it leads to a loss of capacity that we can't afford. You probably are aware that women make up about 50% of our population. And in our society, in our world today, we need all the help we can get. Perhaps you could say that this problem's been going on for millennia, from ancient Chinese foot binding to the modern practices we have to enhance physical beauty. And you say these problems will never go away. But we have made such large strides. Never before has there been a place with so much wealth and so much information available to so many people. We have come so far, and we can go farther. We have the ideal and we have the responsibility to become the best we can be. Because there are problems in our society and problems in the world that we can solve. And I think this is one of them. Now, how are we going to start doing this? First, be aware. When you meet a woman on the street, is the first thing you think of her physical characteristics? And if it is, does your analysis stop there? If it is, I think we have a problem. It's not something that can change overnight. And none of us are immune to it. No one's emerged from this unscathed. But we can improve ourselves. Take a minute and see people the way they are, as luminous beings. Everyone has potential to help in this world. We have thousands of famous men from history like Socrates who changed the world. Imagine if we could have known the women from those time periods. Imagine that we can see those women in our society today. I know we can do better. And it starts with a simple question. What will we do now?